Right, it's Holly and Martin's podcast part 2 here at English Electric Motorcycles with Alec Sharp, the proprietor. Actually, first of all, Alec, can you tell us a little bit about your place here, how long you've been doing it and what got you into the business?
Yeah, we've been here sort of 3 or 4 years as English Electric now. Prior to that, we're probably another 4 years. Starting off specialising custom motorcycles, predominantly all combustion, and then, like I said, about 3 years ago, we got into electric, having no real experience before in that. It was kind of in its infancy in many respects. Motorcycles seem to follow the car market 3 to 5 years behind anyway. And really from that point onwards, we've just been building up a portfolio of different brands. So we're a multi-franchise electric dealership, pretty much, that specialise in sort of the sale, repair, and service of all the brands, that we deal with. So yeah, that's pretty much it, I think.
I think traditionally, motorcycles or bikers, if you like, are quite conservative. How have you found trying to get them to try your machines?
Depending on where we are. It varies really. I would say certainly the older demographic can be a bit troublesome in at least making them aware that it's an alternative, not a replacement, and that's for them. So it's safe for them to have a go without us. I guess we don't want to come across as kind of ramming it down their throat and this is something they're going to have. We want them to experience it as something that's a really awesome alternative, and they should want to ride it rather than have to ride it. So the older demographic can be a bit troublesome. Sort of the younger demographic seem quite open-minded to it. I certainly think guys coming up, maybe teenagers, are quite open to the idea of it, because I think electric's becoming more and more commonplace, certainly in the car market anyway.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a battle, but it's getting easier.
So one of the things on your side is some of your machines are incredibly powerful.
Yeah, we sell everything from little kiddies off-road bike all the way up to 1000cc equivalent sports bikes that will race in the electric equivalent of the MotoGP. So it's I think we have something for everybody, and the beautiful thing about electric is there's a few there's many benefits of electric, but in terms of an actual riding experience, I think a real benefit is it's a real unique ride in comparison to what anybody else has ever ridden. So obviously no clutch, no gears, and obviously instant acceleration, and that's quite unique. For people also having to, coming from a background having ridden lots of different motorcycles, it's not something they would have touched upon until they try electric.
Even if you've been riding for years, it's a whole different experience.
It is. Yeah. We've literally we've done hundreds and hundreds of demos in the 3 years since we've been going. And I've had people as young as, like 3 or 4 on our little Revies, all the way up to in their 80s, trying bikes, and some of the older guys who have been riding the entirety of their lives, they have multiple bikes and ride on a regular basis, and so that's a really unique opportunity for them to try something that they've never had a go on before.
Yeah, one of the questions that we asked Peter about cars. Many of the vehicles seem to be quite a bit more expensive than their petrol equivalent up front, but as Peter explained, over a long time there's not much in it, if anything. Would you say it's the same with motorcycles?
Yes, same principle. You've got usually a higher, a larger outlay initially, but then you start saving money from day one, really, in terms of fuel, maintenance.
How much servicing is there on an electric bike?
Minimal. It's again very similar to the cars in respects to, so you're looking at the standard motorcycle components. So obviously tyres, brake pads, brake discs, that sort of thing. That's standard. But then in terms of the high voltage side of things, the motor's a sealed unit, so it's very rare to go wrong, have an issue wise or maintenance wise, or low maintenance. Sorry, the battery itself's a sealed unit, and most of the other components are. So really, all we would probably recommend is an annual high voltage system check and an update on the firmware, as well as sort of you can do some timing elements to it as well. That's about it. So I mean, it's far, and that never changes really. So obviously, if some if you ride some bikes, you can hit 10, 15, 16,000 miles and have some big services there, whether they be valve clearances or belts or whatever. It can be hundreds and hundreds of belts. A service here is £100 ex VAT, and that pretty much will stay the same, unless it's something sort of special, like some of the Energy, which are effectively race bikes. You have to drop certain oils out of them, but they're not too complicated.
I suppose a lot of motorcyclists put their bikes away for the winter.
Yeah.
And I suppose, and then they've got problems with the latest petrol sitting around in carburetors and whatever. But I suppose with an electric bike, it's just the same after winter.
Pretty much. I don't think electricity goes off.
No.
We had this chat before. But it's the important thing for long-term storage and not using the bikes is that the bikes are able to look after themselves. They have like a long-term storage mode, so you can leave them on charge, and they will basically discharge themselves or charge themselves up accordingly to how long they've been left. Batteries almost like I like to compare it to like a pressurized vessel. So if you leave it fully charged, it's like it's under stress the whole time, and if you leave it undercharged, it doesn't like it either. So leaving it kind of like at a nice medium, a happy point for long periods of time of inactiveness, then that's the best kind of policy on them. And if the bike can do it itself without you having to worry about it, then great, and which most of them do.
Yeah. Okay, but to finish off, Alec, perhaps you can tell us about some of the bikes you've got in your place.
Yeah, it's no problem. So we're in the showroom at the moment. We've got, like I say, something for everybody. So here you've got kind of our children's electrics, or a few of them anyway. So you're running all the way from sort of 3-4 year old up to sort of 5, 6, 7 year old. Then you've got these are actually our used electrics. These are bigger bikes for adults. Zero, which is a Californian brand. And more of our off-road stuff here. Then our bigger bikes, more like again a Zero, but kind of more like an 800cc size bike. Some of our kind of clothing and other bits and bobs that we've got, not necessarily specific to electric, but more sort of Zero-based bikes. And then outside, we've got all sorts. So we have again children's, off-road, Zeros again, and then all the way over here we have scooter-based bikes. So these are all like 50cc 125 bikes, utility bikes, so like for farming, agriculture, that sort of thing. Again, and then up to our really big stuff over here, which is our Energica, our Italian bike. But yeah, it's everything really. So
none of the Japanese Big Four in yet?
Not yet, no. I mean, they seem to be holding off for whatever reason. Maybe they've got other plans, or they'll wait to other people to kind of lay down the foundations and then swoop in and do their own thing.
Although I see BMW have now got a very large scooter that's come out.
Yes, they have. Yeah, they've got a big scooter. I mean, you'll see within the next year or two some of the big boys bringing out a model, I would say, but there'll be no big move to electric for a good sort of 3 to 5 years yet, I would say.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Thanks very much.
All right.
Thanks very much, Alec. It's been a really interesting afternoon. Perhaps I'll have to get back sometime and actually try some of the bikes. But thanks very much indeed for your time.
No